Well, good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Bill.
We're talking this morning about lots of things. Got to be the fiscal cliff, mortgages, what's going to happen in 2013. By the way, this is our last discussion of 2012.
Oh,
so
vacation.
if we look back, well, candidly, the upcoming Mondays are right before Christmas and New Year. So this is the last broadcast of the year. So let's look back at 2012. What else happened? You know, when we started the year, we thought it was going to be a bad year for mortgage origination. It's actually turned out to be quite good.
Not bad at all. The banks have done quite well in mortgage. Several big banks who had pulled back from mortgage are now getting back into mortgage.
But they've just got gum on their shoe. They cannot get rid of all these lawsuits, all this litigation and regulation and all that. Can't get that gum off their shoe.
Well, it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen.
It always does. That gum's hard to get off.
Exactly. And, you know, I was reading this weekend about some companies, REITs, new REITs, that are doing some IPOs.
The New York Times?
No, actually, it was
the Wall Street Journal. I had a 50-50 chance on a sure yes. I had to be right.
But what they were talking about is that, you know, they're buying up so many of these homes. These REITs are going in and raising a lot of capital and going in and buying up actual houses and fixing them up, putting them out for rent, with the expectation that as the market comes back up, they're going to acquire some significant gains.
They'll get rents, rental income, so they'll get current income, and then they'll get the upside, the appreciation in the asset.
Right. And so that's a fairly significant amount, and some of them are, you know, expecting to do quite well off of it. But however, if the fiscal cliff occurs.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about that. All right, let's talk about I don't know if it's the Bowles-Simpson or Simpson-Bowles. I guess it was Bowles-Simpson is BS, right?
I guess so. That's why it's Simpson-Bowles.
But is it, so it's SB.
Right.
Let's talk about their recommendations. The president appointed this commission.
Right, it was because he was up against a Congress that was not going, or purported to not be willing to increase the debt ceiling, and so essentially stop government.
So Alan Simpson, Republican,
right?
Erskine Bowles, Democrat, basically bipartisan commission to come up with some ways to basically, for lack of a better term, balance the budget.
Right.
Right?
Well, at least to decrease the deficit.
Well, okay. So the ultimate goal to balance the budget. And then they had basically there was a big working effort with the objective to the ultimate goal to balance the budget.
Right.
And if things didn't happen, this bipartisan commission did not work out, tax cuts or tax increases, or depending on whether you believe you should increase the base or increase the rate, depending on your perspective about taxes, somehow the net gain is to increase revenue to the government, whether it's increase the base or increase the tax rate, and in addition to that, cut government expenditures so the government could do this novel concept of live within their means.
Right.
Then if that did not occur, there were automatic cuts that went in, and those occurred January the 1st.
That's correct.
So let's talk about that.
Well, they were unable to come up with a solution. Okay. And so as a result, the Bush tax cuts expire at the end of this year.
Well, they had already expired, but they were extended for a 2-year period.
Exactly, and now they expire again.
So what's the probability? So you're a probability kind of guy. What's the probability of those tax cuts being extended for 1 more year while they work out some sort of compromise?
I think it's very low.
So less than 10%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so those expire, and then at the same time, there are some automatic tax or expenditure cuts that go into effect January 1st.
So it's a double whammy.
It's a double whammy. It's a total, let's see, it's going to result in about a 19.5% increase in revenue from taxes primarily, and about 0.25% decrease in spending. Okay, cut in spending, and so it's going to be a fairly sizable thing, and it's across the board cut with certain things accepted. I think veterans benefits are accepted, and retirement benefits are accepted, but by and large, it's across the board cut, and it's going to be fairly significant in certain areas.
So what's let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. What's the problem with that? I mean, it sounds like the government's going to get their house in order.
Well, it depends on your philosophy, of course, but in my opinion, that's exactly the opposite of what they should be doing. They should be increasing spending and reducing taxes right now. So, and what they're doing is going to significantly reduce government expenditures, okay? And it's going to reduce government borrowing. And what's going to happen with that is that we're in all likelihood going to have another recession.
How about a smaller government? We'll have a smaller government.
By necessity, we would have a smaller government.
You're going to cut spending, right, in the government sector, so on all sorts of things. You got a smaller government.
Right, and prior to the election, there were a lot of people, and primarily in the conservative realm, who were saying that incentives or additional government stimulus programs would just simply crowd out private spending. Okay, so if the government borrowed and then spent, all they're doing is crowding out private enterprise from doing the same thing.
That assumes that private enterprise is going to spend.
Right. And so, however, on the reverse side of that, now the same people are saying, oh, we can't do this because there's no private expenditure to replace the government expenditure, and so therefore we're going to have a recession.
Well, having said all that, if we go over the cliff, what impact is that going to have on mortgages, in your opinion?
I think mortgage rates are going to continue to stay down. Okay.
Even lower?
Well, they're not going to get much lower, but they're going to be staying down.
They can go lower. They're like at 3, 4 right now. They can go down to 2.
Well, maybe. That might happen, but it's certainly going to reduce. However, there's going to be a significant increase in unemployment.
That would be bad.
And so therefore there will be fewer people who can afford to buy the houses.
That means the recovery for housing might be delayed.
It'll be flattened out and maybe even decline again for a while. And so...
so maybe more foreclosures.
More foreclosures, yeah, absolutely. Certainly for the unemployed. They're projecting, we were 7.6% unemployment in the last report, and they're projecting it would go up to about 9.1% if this goes into effect. So it's a fairly significant impact on employment, and that's going to impact mortgages. So
let's get our crystal ball out and have a forecast for 2013. All right, so let's talk about what 30-year Fannie Freddie compliant rates will do, in 2013 What's that number?
I think they're going to stay about where they are. Maybe
so 3.5. We're talking about 3.5.
Yeah, it's between 3 and 3.5, I think.
Wow. So you think it'll go down lower?
It will. Certainly, it'll fluctuate.
How low are we going to go before it turns back up?
Oh, that's going to be a while. I'm afraid.
So give me the number. How low is it going to be? I mean, you don't think 2013 is a low? Or I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Is 2013 a low?
I think it'll be the low, yeah. I think it'll start going up a little bit, but it's going to be very slow. It's going to be very flat.
Will it touch 3?
I think we'll touch 3. Get close to
below 3?
No.
All right, you heard it here, folks. This is FNC's Morning View. We're going to get down close to 3, might even touch 3. We hope you all have a very happy holiday season, a happy new year. We'll see you again in 2013. I'm Bill Rayburn with Bob Dorsey. This is FNC's Morning View.